Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here with another trip recap, and I'm Catalina here with Steve Taft, Captain of the Legend. So how's everything been going in June fishing?
Ever since the calendar turned to June, it seems like fishing has really kicked up another notch. We've seen some really great opportunities for anglers, and there seems to be more and more fish moving into the waters outside of San Diego, multiple areas of bluefin as well. So, really encouraging, and some really good trips that have been coming in lately.
And I know that on recent trips you've seen some daytime action, but mostly on this one it seemed like a lot of nighttime stuff, right?
Yeah, we have had some daytime bites. It hasn't been white hot during the daytime. Nighttime has definitely been the majority of the action, and it's definitely given anglers a better chance to land these larger fish like you're seeing coming over the rail in this video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that the fish are starting to grow a little bit more too, right? We're seeing some bigger fish versus those mixed grade schools. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, on this trip, I'd say 2/3 of our fish were that 100 to 150 pound grade of fish. Really nice sized tuna that put up a great fight for people. So it was tough fishing. You can see Joey, part of the crew, is helping out here, and that's going to happen a lot on these bigger fish where the crew is going to be there to assist you guys, and you get somebody that's tired and they ask for you to tag in, and this is tag team fishing at time, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are big fish, and also you're fishing at sometimes 2 a.m. in the morning, right? Like these trips are really can be really hard on your body, and it's a lot of teamwork, right? Whether it's with the crew or with the other passengers. So you can see here two guys on, one guy on a spinning setup, and can make it a little bit more difficult to go over under people just because it's a little bit heavier or bigger of a profile, I should say. But they're doing really good. Listening to Alex, he's right there the whole time.
Yeah, no, they're doing a great job here, working together as best as they can, over, under, communicating with each other. The hardest part about the spinning reel is you don't get to use the rail. That's all you. That's all your back. He's using a rod belt there, and he's doing a good job pulling on that fish and keeping pressure on it to try to continue getting it up. You can see right here another angler was unfortunately in the way of that line as the fish was doing circles as it came up to color. So what we just did there was Captain Frank grabbed a hold of that line and just kind of managed it, keeping it slack, making sure it didn't burn off the other fish. Because we were at color there, the fish was coming up and we were getting ready to gaff it.
Yeah, I think the biggest risk when it comes to tangles at night is guys that aren't on, right? Like trying to drop in or not really paying attention to their lines because maybe they're watching guys fish or, just there's a lot of chaos that can happen when you're night fishing. But, really try to give that guy some space. You can see here, right? Like nobody's around you right now fishing, which is definitely the best case scenario.
Yeah, this was a bigger fish and it was towards the end of the bite. Bob, the angler that hooked the fish, was a little bit tired at this point, so he had me finishing it off for him. You can see as I'm fighting the fish, I'm not looking like I'm exerting that much energy. I'm trying to work smarter instead of harder. I'm using the rail rod appropriately. When that fish took off to run, as you can see right there, I didn't try squeezing the spool down or pumping the drag up. Sometimes they're just not ready to come up, and it takes an extra couple minutes, and it's okay to let them take that run. Don't panic and break off your fish just because you're tired.
Right. And even then, see, you're winding and the line's still coming off. And so you make a little bit of adjustment there. But I see a lot of guys all the time wind. And sometimes line is being taken out as they're winding, right? So it's all going back to working smarter, not harder. You got to really be knowing where your line sort of is going.
Yeah, and this right here is a different fish. I'm fighting left-handed here. So I look a little bit more awkward than normal. I'm not quite used to fighting left-handed, but same deal. I'm using the rail and the rail rod, and I'm not trying to work too hard. I'm letting the rod do a lot of the work. As the fish comes out away from the boat is when I get that big lift so that the deckhands can reach out and get a good gaff shot to land that bluefin and pull it up and over the rail.
Yeah, I think that timing is super crucial because you want to, work efficiently with the rail. This guy's doing his best right there too, using the rail, trying to, get an angle. If he could squat down a little bit lower, you could get a little bit more bend in that rod, which I get it. It's, I'm a small person, so it's a little bit easier for me, but, trying as much as you can to get a bend in that rod, use your legs, your body will thank you later.
Yeah, when that fish is way out, It's definitely to your advantage to try to keep a bigger bend in the rod than that. It's a little bit straighter than we'd like. Up and down here, yeah, laying on the rail, but when he's out at a big angle, you might need to hold the rod up and just puts a little bit more pressure. It puts more drag on the fish, but overall, the anglers are doing a good job listening to the crew, working together, working with each other, and getting these fish up, which is not that easy to do all the time.
It looks like Keegan's right here using also the lefty, it looks like.
Yeah, we had a few left-handed anglers on this trip. What was working really well on this trip was like the 300, 350 gram lures, like the mid-grade ones, not your big, heavy 500 grammers, but like the 300 to 350 gram, like SK profile jigs, which is kind of in between. Not quite your flat fall, which is short and wide, or your true knife jig that's long and skinny. But those in-between lures have been doing really well with that in-between profile to get bit by these fish right now.
And it looks like the weather is cooperating enough to be able to use that lighter stuff too. Sometimes, depending on the swell, depending on the conditions, right? Like you got to go heavier to get down into the zone. But yeah, sometimes the fish just really like that smaller profile.
Yeah, they're kind of locked into it for whatever reason that may be, whether that's the natural bait that they're eating at night or whatever that is right now. They just seem to be more locked into those mid-grade lures, and they've been seeing a lot more success. So if you're getting ready for a trip, I would say make sure you have something 250 to 350 gram in that tackle box with that in-between profile. And like I said, SKs seem to be doing really, really well right now. We've seen a lot of success with those. So I think that's a good one for an angler to have.
Yeah, you can see all these guys working really hard. Those beautiful fish that are coming over the rail. I mean, any one of those, I think that everyone would be stoked with with that grade fish.
Yeah, absolutely. This grade of fish is unbelievable. Like you were mentioning earlier, the weather was really, really cooperative here. You can see there's like no swell at all. There's hardly any wind. So fish are doing big circles because the boat's not drifting one way or another. They're kind of controlling the fight. So that makes it a little bit difficult, but you definitely will take this weather anytime you get it. Like you were saying, when it's beautiful weather like this, you have more options for lures that you get to use. You'll be able to get down there a lot easier. If you have more wind than this, you might have to go up to a heavier lure. And if you have a lot of wind, you may even need to cast to the downswell side so that your lure will sink and be under the boat by the time it drifts to where you are.
Right, and all that just comes with experience. Also, just listening to the crew too. They'll do their best to let sort of what side of the boat, when to drop in, all that kind of stuff. So there's no shame in in being good at taking instruction for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see another nice fish. Alex reached out way far with the gaff there and was able to stick it, and then they get the backup gaffs in the head there and pull it up and over the rail. And these fish are coming over the rail hot. They're fighting really, really hard. You can see that I'm on here on another left-handed reel, and we were talking about when the fish is way out far from the boat, how you have to hold it to keep a bend in the rod. Well, I cheated a little bit and I used the anchor winch. So like I said earlier, I want to work smarter, not harder. There's nights where I might fight a dozen fish helping you guys out to land your fish. So I'm trying to be as efficient as possible so that it's just can be easier on us, and when the time comes that I really need to pull or fight that fish, I still have it in the tank.
Yeah, just like right here, you're able to stand up and really pull and try to finish it as much as you can. This guy doing the same thing, right? Having that bend in that rod. It looks like he's using a jigging setup too.
Yeah, you can see the guides on that rod start inverting as they go up. An acid wrap that's for jigging so that your braid doesn't get caught on your line as you're bouncing it. That was actually Klieg right there. We showed Surrey earlier on the spinning setup. They made their own video from this trip. That's Big Water Bullies. Shout out to those guys. Check out their video of their perspective of the trip, all the way from getting loaded up the landing to getting out on the boat.
And this guy's doing a good job here, finishing off his fish, kind of trying his best to stay in the corner. It can be a really good spot, but it also can be pretty difficult with the challenges of the rudder and the prop that's right there. But as much as you can, just keep your rod straight out and let the deckhand sort of work around you. It can be really hard to not to follow the fish, especially it's kind of getting close right there, and Alex is able to snag it and land this big one for him.